Good morning. It's a new day. The plan this morning is to get things organised for the ramp at the top end of the wall. Let me show you what the plan is. So at the end of this wall here, we need to go from the 1.5 metre height at this post and run down to ground level, if you like, and that's going to be a ramp to give us access up to the top of the wall and obviously all the way down. We weren't quite sure how we were going to do this last week, and so we formulated half a plan, and then I said to Warren, look, I will figure it out and dig out what needs to be dug out by hand. We'll see how that goes. And I also need to put in 3 more post holes. You can see I've marked those. So they are at the 890mm mark roughly. So I'll set about doing that now. I will crack on with that and I'll just do a time lapse. We are now at the end of the morning's work. I have all of that dug out and in the trailer. If I come over here, you can probably see the angle better. So you can see I have dug down this area down here. Obviously I still need to dig the holes, but first I'm going to have some lunch. I may come back to it this afternoon, I may leave it till tomorrow. There are other things also that I need to do today, and it is forecast, though not very much, for us to receive some rain tonight, and I'd rather not have post holes dug for the rain to accumulate in, whereas the rest of the week is fine. So the wise decision may be leave the holes until tomorrow, dig the holes, put the posts in, mix some concrete and get those in place. I think that is the plan I have settled on. There was quite a lot of dirt in there, and it ended up being more than I anticipated, but I don't actually mind a bit of hard work. So you can see in the trailer here, there's quite a bit in here, and so I did take as many of the roots out as I could easily do so, because I don't really want all of those going back in when this clay goes back in behind the wall. I don't want all that in there because it's every bit of it will probably grow. So the least we have of it, the better. Okay, lunchtime, and we'll see what happens this afternoon. Once I started sorting out the post holes, I immediately realised that I needed to dig out more of the bank in order to get the posts in the ground far enough to provide the necessary strength for the wall. I dug all of that out and then set about digging the holes. I also decided that in fact the ramp needed to have a much steeper angle of incline so as to allow a reasonable entry width off the drive at the bottom end. I could have taken out more of the concrete nib wall, but the drive starts to turn to the left at this point, and doing that was just going to make things more complicated. Digging the holes was straightforward as we are well below the clay pan here. I stockpiled the clay on the other side of the drive so that it was handy for going back behind the wall. Yes, it's work. You can see that with the post hole digger that I use, I have marked on it every 100 millimeters so that I don't have to keep getting the tape measure out when I'm digging. And so that hole is at least 900 deep, and that will be sufficient because that'll be maybe about half the post. Hang on a minute, I'll have a measure. I think I'll use a 2.4 post just to give me some margin. I can always cut it off. 2.4 at this end. They can be a little bit shorter as we go up, but I probably will use all 2.4 posts simply because it gives me some margin. I will go and have a look and see what I have in stores. If necessary, I'll go and buy a couple. This is what I was looking for. Now, one of these is a slightly different diameter than the other two, but it will be fine for what I need. So that's good. I have those stored. Under here are a whole lot of longer poles that I have lined up to use either here or on the top wall when we get to that. When the ground is relatively soft, as this ground is, there is a degree of satisfaction in being able to progress the job in hand both quickly and without having to resort to an iron bar in order to make progress. I did still need to use the draining spade to break up the clay before I used the other device to remove the material from the hole. Good afternoon. Summary of where I'm up to as follows. After lunch I dug these two holes down here, so that one and that one, and they are not on the same line. If I sit down here you'll be able to see. The plan is to have a round post the same as the others in that hole. That post needs to be about 1400 long, and then this one I'm going to put a little square post, and it's going to actually be on the inside of the boards, and then we'll fix it through the post and into the boards. The reason for that is because there's just not room here. You may be able to see, you can see the drain there. Even if I take that out, which I did for the hole down there, it's still not going to work. And besides, I don't want anything sticking out here, because if somebody comes around here too close with a trailer or whatever, that could get clobbered because it's kind of on the curb. So if I put it on the inside, it won't be seen. It's a square one, doesn't matter. And then the boards will come on the outside of that post. These posts are all ready for concrete. Hopefully a concrete mixer is arriving this afternoon, and I have leftover builder's mix and cement that I can use for those. And the reason I haven't put these posts in ready for concrete is because the bracing in that would get in the way for getting the concrete into these holes. So that's where we're up to, and I think that's probably about it on this particular thing for today. I know I have mentioned this before, but it will bear repeating again. I have several of these hearth shovels that are used both for gardening duties and also for concreting duty. They are ideal for these small awkward position jobs and are also great for then sliding down beside the post to help the concrete settle around the post. If you ever see one at a garage sale or the like, grab it. And just make sure you pay for it as well though. I'm pleased to have that done. I could have done with one more shovel full of concrete, but I'm not concerned because that post is going to have very little pressure on it anyway, and when we concrete above the nib here, it's going to receive more concrete, so that's okay. That's the last of those. We can now finish off the end of that wall with the boards coming through to where they need to, and then they'll be cut off on the angle and at the back. Those, I'm thinking it will, I'm not sure whether it'll look better if they're horizontal, because you're only going to see kind of above that line. I think it'll look funny if they're the same as these ones. We'll figure it out. Put a board on, see what it looks like, and make a decision. This will be the end of this video, I'm pretty confident, and so hopefully you were entertained in some way. See you later. Bye.